look at topic 3, example 2, where we understand equations with infinitely many or no solutions. So it's quite similar to solving equations like we did in example 1, where there's variables on both sides. But this applies to solving any type of equation, including the ones we covered in topic 2. So part A, what is the value of x in 4x plus 6 is equal to 2 times applying 2x plus 3? So I'm going to rewrite the equation, and the first thing I'm going to do is distribute. So I'm going to take this 2 and multiply that in. I get 4x plus 6 is equal to 2 times 2x would be 4x, and 2 times 3 would be 6. Now, right away, you might notice that the left and the right sides are exactly the same. So let's go with that, and something interesting is going to happen, or something unique to this problem. So I would then try to get all of my variables on the same side by subtracting 4x. When I do that, the 4x's on the left drop out, so I have 6. And the ones on the right drop out, so I have 6 is equal to 6, which is a true statement, right? 6 does equal 6. 6 always equals 6. And this is called an identity. And what that means is that the equation, the values of the left and the right are the same. They're always the same. And in an identity, we would say that we have infinitely many solutions. No matter what number you plug in for x, the equation is going to work out. If we go back to example 1, part A, you can only use x equals 3 if you want to balance the left and right sides. In part B, you can only use n is equal to 6 if you want them balanced. But here, with an identity, it doesn't matter what value I plug in for x. The left and the right sides are always going to be equal to one another. What this looks like, let's say you were to graph this. If you were to graph this, you would have something like, say that left side, 4x plus 6, would look something like that, right, with a y-intercept of 6 here. And if you were to graph this right side, well, that graph will be the exact same line. All right, and sorry about that. They lie right on top of one another. So these two equations, these two sides, the left and the right side, are exactly the same. There's infinitely many solutions because the lines they are the same line. The left side of the equation and the right side of the equation represent the same line. So since it is an identity, we would say that there are infinitely many solutions. Now in part B, kind of looking to see what happens if we were to try and solve this, using the methods that we've been using. So again, the first thing I want to do for this specific problem is I'm going to distribute that 2. So I get 6x minus 5 is equal to 6x plus 8. Now this time, again, I'll try to move the variables all to the left. So I'll undo operations by subtracting 6x. And I'm left with negative 5 is equal to positive 8. Well, that doesn't make any sense. Negative 5 is not equal to positive 8. So since they're not equal, what's going to happen here is that there's no solution. Because the left and the right sides are never going to be balanced. No matter what number I plug in for x, they are never going to be equal to one another. And what that would look like on a graph, and I'm just making this one up here, 6x minus 5 would be something like this. Right? You would have this line here, and we'll go forever in each direction. Now, when we're looking for solutions, the left and the right sides have to equal one another, right? And what happens is those two lines are going to intersect. And in part A, they overlap the entire time, so that's why there are infinitely many solutions. But here in part B, what's going to happen is these two equations are actually parallel to one another, or these two sides are parallel to one another. So they're never going to intersect. And if they don't intersect, we can't have a solution. So for part B, or any equation where the left and the right sides are not balanced, they're not equal to one another, there's going to be no solution because those two parts, the left and the right sides, will never intersect. So keep that in mind. Part A, that's where if you have the exact same line, it's called an identity. and there would be infinitely many solutions. In part B, when they are not balanced, they're not equal to each other, there would be no solution.